Hi everyone! So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Atousa, I'm a research scientist at King's College London, and very soon I am going back to university to become a student once again. Now, I'm moving to Birmingham, and because of that I've been having a look at accommodation, university halls and studios and getting a flat, and that kind of inspired me to make a video all about accommodation and places for students to live in London, since that's where I am currently, and I thought, why not make this video now? Now you see, the clips that I'm going to be showing you are actually clips that I filmed I think last year, but because I filmed those clips around August time, I figured that by that time most students would have already gotten their university accommodation sorted. So I held off a year, and here we are in March. I'm trying to be more timely this year. Anyway, I digress. So I have put together a mixture of university halls and also private accommodations that you can get across London, and I think that this video might be quite a lengthy video, so I'm going to make it as compact as possible, and without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so let's rewind back to 2 years ago when I myself was a student in London. My accommodation of choice 2 years ago was Gradpad, specifically Griffin Studios, and I had moved down to London to study a one-year master's course in translational cancer medicine at King's College London. And because this was my first time moving to London and living in London and being a student in London, I wanted to live in an accommodation, or like a student accommodation, before moving out to my own flat, which is where I am now. I figured it would be a good opportunity for me to get to know the city, get to know the areas before deciding to move in. And so this is where I stayed. And this is what the room looks like as you walk in. I should also show you a span of the kitchen, and that is what your little kitchenette looks like. Now, Gradpad itself is the name of the parent company, I suppose, and they have 2 or 3 locations, I believe, across London. As I said, the specific one that I stayed at was called Griffin Studios, and this was right next to Clapham Junction Station. I really enjoyed my time at Gradpad, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I've made a full video showing a tour and talking a little bit more about the price and showing the facilities in a different video, so I will link that below, and if you're interested and you want a bit more detail, you can go and have a look at that. After graduating from university, I started working at King's College London, which is in London Bridge. And because of that, I was looking for a flat that was a relatively short distance. So me and my flatmate decided on Old Street. Now for me this is perfect because it is literally 3 stops on the tube to London Bridge. But what I've noticed since living here is that it is a very studenty area, and there are literally multiple student accommodations like on my doorstep. And I want to share 2 of them with you here. So these 2 accommodations are Urban Nest and IQ. Now both of these have locations all across London, and if I'm not mistaken, all across the UK. But the particular ones that I'm going to be showing you in the clips are the ones that are right next to Old Street Station. Let's start with Urban Nest first. Hey everyone, so this is Urban Nest Hoxton. So you've got a bunch of these spread out all over London. This is the part in Old Street Station. Now this is actually only a few moments away from where I currently live, but this is a really studenty area. So to your left you've got a kind of diner, studenty area where I think it's open to the public, but you find a lot of students there. And to your right you've got a really big Tesco that's really convenient if you need to do any of your shopping. So we can just show you around the area. Now Urban Nest has 6 locations across London, and if I'm not mistaken, all of these locations have been built to be in close proximity with the various universities that are spread across London. These locations include Vauxhall, Hoxton, which is the one I'm showing you, St Pancras, Westminster Bridge, Tower Bridge and King's Cross. So these accommodations are available to both undergrad and postgraduate students, and I think that they have a whole range of different room options, from studio to ensuite and even maybe 1 or 2 bed flats, if you ever wanted to share with a friend. And now all of these different 6 locations have different prices and different availabilities. So I will link the information below and you can go have a look and see which one's the most suitable for you. Next, let's move a little bit down the road to the next accommodation, which is IQ. So we're coming up to IQ right now, and actually they have got a show flat that you can see through the window. So we can try and get close in and give you a little bit of an overview of what some of the rooms might look like. Again, this is the Hoxton version, but as I said, they'll be all over London too. So we're going to have a little peek in through the window, and this is an example of what one of the rooms might look like. IQ, similar to Urban Nest, has a whole bunch of locations across London and the UK, and I believe that with IQ there are locations ranging from zones 1 all the way to zone 4. And on the screen right now I will put some of the locations because there's a lot of them and it will take a long time for me to read them out. But similarly to Urban Nest, because there are literally so many different versions, I will encourage you to go and have a look at the website, linked below, and that will give you an idea of prices and the types of rooms and the location. Now moving swiftly on to university accommodation, as I said, I studied at King's College, so a bunch of the accommodations I'm going to be showing you are from King's College, but I also have some clips from St. George's Halls. Starting with King's, I believe that the university itself has 13 student accommodations on various campuses. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 of the locations at London Bridge at the Guy's campus. But I will leave a link below to all of the other accommodations too, in case you are based at Waterloo or Strand or different campuses and you want to get a whole picture. So let's begin with Wolfson House.
So the building behind our Green Theatre over there is the Wolfson House, which is one of our accommodations here at King's. I think it's been here for like around 50 years or so, because my personal tutor actually went there as well. And it's really, really close to our lecture theatre, so you have no excuse to miss the lectures. A lot of my friends do, even though they live here. And then right over here is Green Theatre.
So as Kenji explained, Wolfson House is literally right on campus and it is right next to the Greenwood Lecture Theatre, which is where a lot of the medical students have their medical lectures. The accommodation itself is quite old, but I think given the accommodation, the price is quite affordable for London prices, and if you are a medical student, you don't even have to walk to your lectures. You can literally roll out of bed. And in fact, Kenji and I filmed a campus tour video, I think in the summer, and I will link that below if you want to get more of an idea of what the campus itself looks like and the surrounding of that particular accommodation. Next, we have Orchard and Lyle Brook. I never know how to say it. So we're currently on Guy's campus at London Bridge, and these are one of the Orchards, Lyle and the Iris Brook House, and this is another one of the student accommodations that is literally like a 30-second walk from Guy's campus and the hospital. It's got this huge courtyard area, and inside I visited once because a friend of mine stayed here, and it's just like regular flats. So you have maybe like 4 or 5 rooms and then a common area and then a kitchen.
Mm. And these aren't en suites?
Oh, are they?
They're not en suite. No.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Sorry, they're not en suite. Again, this is an accommodation that is directly on campus, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it is just for postgraduate students. It includes both non-ensuite rooms, which are part of a flat share, but I think they do also include studio rooms for anybody who wants their own space. Now, a few friends of mine did actually stay in this accommodation, and I think they really liked it. Lastly, we have Great Dover Street Apartments, and this is where Kenji has been staying for the last 2 years, I believe, so I will let him tell you a little bit more about it.
Right, so here at Great Dover Street Apartments, which is where I stayed in my first year, and I'm staying here in my second year as well. So it's part of King's College London accommodation. It's about 5 minutes walk to Borough High Street, and it's about 10-minute walk to campus, so it's super convenient. It's probably one of the most, I think it's the second closest accommodation to campus as well, which is amazing. But yeah, we'll get some clips.
So yes, I think Kenji pretty much explained all that there is to know, and I also included a few other clips in case you guys are interested. But once again, details will be linked in the description. Okay, so as I said, because I studied just at King's, I don't have any sort of first-hand experience on accommodations at the other London universities. But lucky you, I did a bit of research and looked into the different kind of accommodations for the different universities, and I have managed to collate some useful links that I will link below that you can go and see. That is of course with the exception of St. George's Halls, which are known as Hornchurch Halls. Now I'm very lucky here because Jack was kind enough to offer showing me around and taking me all the way to the St. George's campus and also where the main accommodation buildings are. So let me show you what that looks like.
Hi, so I'm Jack, and I used to stay here at Hornchurch Halls, and Hornchurch Halls is the student residence that's connected to St George's University. So this is the entrance to Hornchurch Halls. The way that the actual halls themselves are set up is it's like a sort of square fashion, and then in the middle is like a garden. So if you're on the outskirts, you can see outside the square, and if you're on the inside, you can see the inside of the square, so at least you can actually have a view You're not like stuck without any kind of window.
And you can actually see if you look through.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a courtyard, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's just one of them. I mean, there's loads of them. It's really big.
Oh, amazing.
So as Jack said, the area seems to be huge, and I believe that the majority of the students who go there tend to stay at these halls if they don't decide to move out in flats. Unfortunately, we weren't able to actually go inside the building and show you a little bit more about the rooms and the common areas, but I will link details below, and I'm sure they'll have plenty of pictures and videos for you to go and have a look at. Okay, so if you've gotten to this point, I'm sure that the video is lengthy enough, but there are a few more things and a few more places that I'd like to share with you. These are some more of the private accommodations that you can get across London, and while I don't have any clips for these, I have done a bit of research and I thought that I would include them just for your information down below so you have a little more to go off on. I know this is daunting, guys. I know London is such a big place and finding the right accommodation can be really stressful. Okay, so the first of these is Unite Students. This was actually one of the places that I very nearly moved into before I decided to move into Gradpad. They offer really large accommodations all across London, and I think the only reason that I decided not to go there was because Gradpad was closer for me to get to my campus. But what I really like about these guys is that they are very affordable, especially because they've got locations not just in Zone 1, but also in Zones 2 and 3. So again, I will link it below and maybe you'll find something that you'll find suitable. Next, there is a company called Escape, and again, this isn't something I have personal experience with, but from researching around on the internet, it seemed to get quite good reviews. So again, something else for you to consider. And last but not least, if you have managed to get to this part of the video and you feel completely overwhelmed, which by the way, I don't blame you, there is a search engine, which again, I just found by looking on Google, called mystudenthalls.com. And as I said, it's essentially a search engine where you can put in all of the things you want. So you could say en suite with this price range in this location, and it will give you a whole list of ideas on where you can start looking. And that's a really good place to start if you're completely lost. So I know finding accommodation can be daunting. I know I certainly felt like that 2 years ago when I was moving down, but I really hope that this made it a little bit easier for you. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hang around, check out my social media, and do leave me any questions you have below and I will try my best to get back to you. I wish you all the very best with moving to London, and until next time, take care and I will see you later.